Happy Sunday night, everybody. Hope everybody's having a blessed Sunday. Hope, hope everybody's enjoying their day all together. But um, we did a show Friday night. But like I said, told you guys since last Sunday I didn't do a show. I just wanted to conversate with another show. So first thing I want to say, shout out to the mighty LDBC. Guys, if you come into the building, if you can't stay long and to listen, that's okay. I understand, but at least hit my like button. Don't come in there and be nosy. Please come in and hit and hit the like button for me. Share. You can share also. Anybody you think who would like the show, I'll much appreciate it. 78 Sports, the general, blessing us with his presence. Salute. Salute, General. And of course, I have to introduce my co-host, Coach 67 Sports TV, Mr. Southern himself. What's going on?
All is well, bro. I'm blessed and highly favored this evening. How y'all gentlemen doing?
We blessed, and there's a little static, but we can hear you loud and clear, but there's a little static. But we doing fine.
That's great, bro. That's great.
JB, how you doing, sir?
I'm here, man. I'm blessed, man. I'm ready to do another show, man.
All right, bet. Okay, so let's go. Man, so we're gonna go straight into go ahead and get the HBCU segment out the way. If y'all don't mind, I'm gonna share my screen real fast. Let me know if y'all see it.
Yes, sir.
All right. So it was some very good games. Campbell beat Hampton 30-27. Alabama State outlasted Bethune-Cookman 19-14. Villanova beat North Carolina A&T Aggies 37-14. Alcorn State just by a point beat Grambling 25-24. Jackson State beats Alabama A&M 45-30. Florida A&M outlasts those pesky Jaguars 26-19. And Coach, I'm gonna let you eat on that alone. I know you have a lot to say about that game. But after I go over the scores, I'm gonna let you have it because I know you. I think you was there, wasn't you? You was at AEW Mumford Stadium.
Yes, sir, bro. You already know.
All right, I figured. So we gonna, and also those who don't know, Coach 67 Sports TV did do a recap of the game already on his channel. So all of my Southern fans out there, please take a view at that if you want to get his perspective from a man that was actually there. Fairview A&M beats Mississippi Valley 31-12. Central Connecticut State beat Delaware State 54-44. Wow, no defense. North Carolina Central beat Elon 34-23. Tennessee State beat Kennesaw State 27-20. Northwestern barely beats Howard 23-20. So that almost was an upset, ladies and gentlemen. South Carolina State thrashes Virginia Lynchburg 56-6. I don't even know why we play Virginia. Ain't they like a Division III HBCU program? Or Division II?
No, I think they D2, but if I'm not mistaken, I think that's who Southern play next week for homecoming. Oh no, I take it back. Southern played them last year for homecoming, and Southern gave them a good whooping last year. But bro, I'm not gonna lie, they were fights the team. They fought hard.
Yeah. Hey, coach, try to get out and come back in. See that get rid of that static.
All right, bro.
Brandon Brazil in the big building. He's like, yo, what's up? What's going on? 86 Ghosts. Thank you for tuning in, brother. Like always, man. That's another man with a bomb ass channel. He does food reviews. He talks about life. Talk about sports. He talks about a little bit of everything. Please go subscribe. Show that brother some love. But JB, the games as far as HBCU wise, which game stood out to you or you were interested in?
Well, I got stuck watching that turned out to be a good game was the Southern and FAMU game. That was a good game.
A lot of Southern fans don't think so because they wanted to win. So, but I agree with you. I thought it was a good game. I thought it definitely was a good game, even though a lot of the Southern fans did not like some of the calls that their head coach decided to go with. But we're gonna leave that to the coach. Coach, I'm gonna let Coach. I know you itching to talk about what went on there live in up AW Mumford Stadium. Go ahead and let us know what went on.
I mean, like y'all said, I mean, it was a very good game. There's no denying that. I mean, I think the biggest issue that Southern fans are seeing, based on what we saw from Coach Dooley last year and the whole controversy with Bashawn McCray and Gunnar Bubba McDaniel, and the way Harold Blood is playing, and basically the decisions he's making from a head coaching standpoint. He's supposed to be this offensive guru, but the offense is trash. Essentially, he's running the same racehorse offense, spread offense that Coach Pete Richardson ran in the late 90s, early 2000s. And the issue with the racehorse offense has always been over the years is, even though it's a spread offense, there's so many different versions of spread nowadays because so many people run it. There's so many variations of spread. Everybody is gonna have their thing. The issue with the racehorse offense is it's 5 wide spread, but it's slow tempo. So, if you look at Chip Kelly version of spread offense, it's tempo, it's hurry, it's go fast. Whereas the racehorse offense,
right,
it's spread, but it's slow. So it kind of defeats the purpose. So for all intents and purposes, you just might as well huddle up and call your play in the huddle and then come to the line of scrimmage and do what you're going to do. So when you get in 2-minute type situations, it's time consuming. That was the thing that really kind of let us know it was time for Coach Richardson to go, 07, 08. And essentially Coach Dooley having those same issues. So that's one issue he has. Of course, I talked about this in the video in terms of his play calling. I think he's decided that Harold Blood is more of a game manager, and as a result, he's leaning more heavily on a running game. And that's cool, however. And there were instances where he should have been passing the ball, and he decided to run the ball instead. I mean, he had a little bit less than a minute left, like 58 seconds left in the game. You right at midfield. And he ran the ball on first down. He only had one timeout left. Bro, from a clock management standpoint, he wasted so much time running the ball in that particular instance. Like, it was stupid. So, bro, it's so many issues with, his play calling, his clock management, his decision making as a head coach. overall, it was a winnable game. You know, most of Jaguar Nation and most Southern fans feel like Coach Dooley blew the game. And, from a play calling standpoint, his racehorse offense is vanilla. Of course, all he does is, he runs maybe his own reread option or some power. And, he has, certain pass plays, but it's pretty much limited. He he doesn't run any jet sweeps. He doesn't run any reverses. He has no screen game, so he doesn't throw a whole lot of bubble screens or jailbreak screens or tunnel screens to the wide receivers. He doesn't throw the ball in terms of in the screen game to the backside of the backfield. Gary Quarles Jr. and Kendrick Grimes. And they're third down type backs, they're smaller backs, fast backs, shifty backs. So he doesn't utilize them in the screen game. He has a lot of weapons at wide receiver with Chandler Whitfield and Cassius Allen and August Petrie III. So he has weapons. He also has Jalen Howard, so he has weapons at both the wide receiver position, the running back position. Last week they rearranged the offensive line. The offensive line played better last week, but Arkansas Pine Bluff, from a competitive standpoint, they're not a real good team. But last night, the first half, they pretty much ran the ball on FAMU's throat. Eventually, FAMU made adjustments. So I think, Gary Quarles Jr., he played well. The punter, Ruben Beauplance, he played well. He probably going to be first team SWAC. I mean, he's probably the best punter in the SWAC. He played, go to show you how well he's been playing. He wasn't the SWAC special teams player of the week. When Southern played against Alabama A&M, he was the SWAC player of the week. So that's how well he's been playing. The defense was excellent last night. Taj Brown had an excellent game. For the exception of the drop interception, Jalen Campbell had an excellent game. So the defense played well enough for them to win. It's just from a complimentary football standpoint, basically the offense put the defense in compromising situation too many times. And there were a few instances where they were able to go up 2 scores. Like, for example, they had the ball when they were up at one point. They didn't capitalize. Another instance, even though he had a long touchdown, Chandler Whitfield, he muffed the punt and he gave FAMU the ball back. And FAMU went down the field and they scored. So going in the half, FAMU was up 16-12. So overall, it was a winnable game, but just from a coaching and X and O standpoint, I'm not even going to sugarcoat it. Coach Dooley's trash. And a lot of members of Jaguar, they just feel like it's time for administration to go in a different direction. It's time to let him go. It's time to let Coach Roman Banks go as athletic director. And even, I think, from a talent standpoint, I think if you're going to make Harold Blood a game manager, that's cool. But you just can't lean too heavily on the running game, because either way, you have the same issue you had against Jackson State, against Alabama State, from the standpoint you're leaving your defense on the field too often. Because like I said, Kelby Givens and Taj Brown, they had an excellent game last night. Christian Davis, he played well. So the defense played well enough for them to win. It's just that they left the defense on the field far too often. And instead of just leaning heavily on the running game, if he had, some shovel passes, some screens to the wide receiver, some screens to the running back, to kind of supplement the running game instead of leaning too heavily on the running game, I think they would be fine. But from a play calling standpoint, he doesn't set up plays. There's no scaffolding. The analogy I used on my channel in terms of scaffolding from a play calling standpoint is like if I was teaching you math, first I would teach you the numbers, then I would teach you how to count, then I would teach you how to add, subtract, multiply, and divide, and you build on those skills. You build one skill on the other skill. You can't go to the next level till you build on one of these skills. And it's the same thing with a play call. If I run the ball up the middle a couple plays and I get good yards and we get a first down, I'm setting you up for a bootleg later on down the line. So, like later in the game, when the game was tied, of course, the FAMU fans behind me complaining about Jeremy Musa. And I'm like, what are y'all complaining for? Like, literally, I would trade Harold Blood for Jeremy Musa immediately. And they were like, nah, nah, nah. And I'm like, well, why y'all complaining? They were talking about how of the alumni at FAMU, they never satisfied, and they complaining about Jeremy Musa. And I'm like, you need to tell them people they need to shut up. Because
Yeah, for real.
Jeremy Musa is the best quarterback in the SWAC now that Shador's gone.
Yeah.
Hands down, I don't care what nobody say. I mean, I like Andrew Body, but I think Jeremy Musa is that guy. But anyway, it was 4th
Andrew
and 10.
Body's out for the year anyway.
Yeah, that's crazy too. We won't get to that too. But anyway, it was 4th and 10. They want to plus out the field. It really didn't pay them to punt because they were only going to gain like, had it been a touchback, it was only going to be like 10, 15 yards of field position. So they went for it. And since Taj Brown and Kelby Givens were getting such good pass rush, essentially what they did is they started rolling Musa out in certain instances. But they still were getting pressure. They still was getting home. So on this 4th and 10 play, FAMU, Coach Willie, he made an excellent call. They ran a dash screen. And for those individuals that don't know what a dash pass is, essentially you roll in one direction and you throw the ball back in the opposite direction. It was a play that was made famous by the Washington Redskins and Joe Theismann. They ran the dash pass. They were like one of the first teams out. This was before my time, but me just studying football, I was like one of the first teams I saw that really ran a dash pass. So they didn't run a dash pass, they ran a dash screen. So they act like they was going to roll Musa out to the right, and he turned around and he threw the screen back to the left. And I think they ended up getting like 20, 25, 30 yards. And basically they were, deep in southern end of the field. And eventually they scored, and eventually they went on to win the game. So at the end of the day, I think the reason why Southern fans are disheartened, if you look at the game against Alabama State, Jackson State, and FAMU, all three of those games were winnable. But from a coaching standpoint, basically they were just out-coaching all three of those games. And essentially it came down to the offense. So that's why Southern fans, they're just not, picking on Coach Dooley. It's just the fact that, just to be truthful, we just call him a spade. He's not that guy from a head coaching standpoint,
Yeah. We definitely saw there was many aspects of the game where I was like, man, Southern could be winning this game, but there was a lot of questionable calls or plays that I was like, okay, I wouldn't have called that, but I definitely feel your pain. Definitely feel your pain.
Well, I mean, I think they play against Lincoln next week for homecoming. So, they're gonna roll the score up. But the problem is they beat the teams they should beat, but some of these teams that they're evenly matched with, they're not playing too well in those games,
Yeah. Yeah, and it seems like that's the same scenario with the always seems like that's what the identity of Southern is becoming for the last 2 years. But overall in the SWAC, coach, Florida A&M is at the top, of course, of the East, and Jackson State is following. Alabama's third. Alabama A&M, excuse me, be more specific. And then in the West, you got Prairie View A&M that's 3-3. They're 3-1 in the conference, and Grambling State under them in Alcorn State and third and fourth in the West. Unfortunately, is your Southern Jaguars. So it looks like the race for the best in the West in the SWAC is between, in my opinion, Prairie View A&M and Grambling.
I'm gonna have to disagree with that. I mean, truthfully speaking, bro, really outside of Pine Bluff, the West is wide open. So I'm not saying Southern is not gonna get to the SWAC championship game. I think my issue is
I'll be honest, I don't see it, but I understand.
I mean, and guess what? I don't knock you for feeling that way, and I think that's the problem, that Southern fans feel like if from a talent standpoint, if they superior to the other team, Southern is going to win, like maybe against Allen, against Alabama A&M, against Arkansas Pine Bluff. I think that's the beauty about the West is the fact that there's a lot of parity. As you can see in the East, FAMU is head and shoulders above everybody else in the East.
Yes,
There's no
no
dispute.
question.
In the West is a lot of parity. That's the reason why Southern backed in last year. And truthfully speaking, whoever wins the West this year, they're going to back in this year. I think it's feasible that Southern backs in the West. But the problem is somebody needs to just be honest with Coach Dooley and tell him the real. The fans are saying what we all saying the same thing. The problem is I don't think Coach Dooley is hearing it. So I think he has a chance to turn it around. And to be truthful, I'm going to be honest. They're making it to the SWAC championship game. In retrospect, got to realize Coach Dooley lost the last 2 SWAC championship games. So even if Southern did get to the SWAC championship game, it's nothing impressive. It's nothing to brag about. So is it feasible for Southern to get to the SWAC championship game? Yes. The question is, can they win it? And with him at the helm, I don't think that's possible. So truthfully speaking, yeah, I can see them getting to the SWAC championship game, but do I see them winning it with him being the head coach or him calling plays with the way he's calling it? Nah. I mean, really what he needs a legitimately good offensive coordinator. He's not that guy.
Yeah, I agree. I definitely agree. Question for you, Coach. Who would you think will be the coach of the year in the SWAC? This year?
My friend last night, Mr.
How far?
Will.
I know it's not even. It's getting close to the mid-season.
Yeah, my friend last night with his performance, Mr. Willie. I think he the best coach in the SWAC. I think it's hands down at this point. You know, I know some people might say TC Taylor or whoever, but you know, Willie is that guy right now.
Yeah, Coach Willie Simmons, he definitely is that guy.
And FAMU is that team, and Willie's that guy. And Jeremy Moose is, in my opinion, at this point, I think he's SWAC Player of the Year at this point. You know, despite what his, you know, with the alumni FAMU saying it's ridiculous to me, I don't see what they're complaining for. You know,
because they want Queen Gray, another Queen Gray, but
bro, I mean,
Jeremy Moose is that guy though.
Jeremy Moose is not chopped liver, bro. I mean,
yeah.
Like I said, if they complain about Jeremy Moose so much, send him to A.W. Mumford Stadium right now. I guarantee you, with the weapons he has for Southern, if you essentially run the same offense he's running in, I mean, both of them spread offense, but if he ran the offense he's running at FAMU with Jeremy Moose at the helm, bro, Southern is SWAC champion. No question about it.
I don't know, Coach. I think that quarterback like a Queen Gray or somebody like that has spoiled Florida A&M. Same thing with there's certain quarterback in each program. Every quarterback leaves their mark and spoils the fan base. Like for example, a Devontae Kincaid with Grambling. So Grambling, the Graham fam is not taking. They saw greatness at the quarterback level at Grambling, so they looking for another Devontae Kincaid.
Well, I mean, truthfully speaking, bro, I mean, I think if you're talking about this modern era, Kincaid is that guy. But I mean, you could arguably say Bruce Eugene was just as good as him.
Bruce Eugene.
And Doug Williams, probably the greatest Grambling quarterback of all time.
So there you go.
I mean, even if you look at Southern, I mean, once Eric Randall, you know, won 2 SWAC championships in 3 years, you know, after Eric Randall, it wasn't like Southern fans were like, well, all right, hey, we're looking for another Eric Randall. And then, you know, eventually, you know, you got Sam George, you know, the scrub, Marcus Jacoby. And I'm not just saying it because he was white. I'm just saying it because he was trash. So, you know, you got Marcus Jacoby, you had Sam George, you know, you had Troy Williams, you had Terrence Levy, until you got to Quincy Richard. I mean, the thing about even Quincy Richard, you know, you know, he struggled, you know, once Terrence Levy got hurt, because that was the issue with Terrence Levy. He was a good quarterback, but he was injury prone. You know, they tried Fisher. Fisher was trash. Eventually, Richard became that guy. He struggled his whole sophomore year. And then his junior year, I'm not gonna lie. I got to give P. Richardson his credit. He stuck with Richard, and I'm like, bro, why don't you just go with Thomas Ricks? If he hurt that much, just go with Ricks. But he stuck with Richard. He was like, he's hurt, he's hurt, he's hurt. Like for the Bayou Classic, his junior year, he had a outstanding performance, and I remember, asking my dad, like, hey, do you think the guy we saw early this season is he that guy, or is he that guy from the SWAC championship? He was like, well, son, I don't know. From the Bayou Classic, he was like, well, I don't know, son, we gonna see. And sure enough, the next year, the guy that we saw in the Bayou Classic his junior year, he was that guy his entire senior year. He got hurt in the SWAC championship game, but he stuck with it, and Southern ended up winning. So at the end of the day, bro, I think it just kind of depends on, you can't constantly compare, this guy from guys of the past, because if that's the case, guess what? Southern fans want the next Eric Randall, and Southern fans want the next Quincy Richard. Then they want the next Brian Lee or Austin Howard or Trey Joseph or whoever. So you can't worry about the past. You have to worry about the guy you have in your presence. And if he's the best guy in the SWAC right now, I can understand like the kind of casual fans kind of being upset here and there, but for the most part, he played a good game, and they were complaining about that. And I'm like, man, I don't see what the issue is, me personally,
Well, if FAMU is upset because he's not going like 300, 400, having
But
those
from a
type of
number
games, you
standpoint,
don't need to if your running game is working as well as it has been.
well, bro, I don't mean to cut you off, but from a number standpoint, if you pull up the stats from the game, like his numbers were way better than you would think if you were sitting in A.W. Mumford Stadium. I didn't look at him like intently. However, just the glance numbers I saw, I'm like, wow, he had that many yards passing, and I was like, wow, I was astonished. So that's what I'm saying. Of course, he had his mistakes here and there, but people don't. They don't realize the kind of pressure that Taj Brown and Kelby Givens and Cotton and Jalen Campbell was putting on him last night. Southern defense, they played the best game they played the entire season, and that's saying a lot. I think the only real bad game they really had was against Alabama and them. But for the most part, bro, Taj Brown and Kelby Givens, they were on him last night. And for them to be complaining about, the missed passes he had, to me, it was just ridiculous, bro.
He had a very good game passing. It's just that I think they're complaining about the consistency, but he had 325 yards passing. And,
bro, he was 31 of 53, bro. Like, he didn't throw an interception. There was some passes that he could have thrown better, but bro, he was under pressure all night, bro. All night. They couldn't run the ball on Southern. And Southern was constantly, really, I'm gonna be honest with you, I'll probably for the exception of maybe like 3 or 4 real drives. I felt like Southern defense was excellent. In fact, I think had Southern just like the other 2 games they lost, had Southern offense been able to keep things going in the right direction, especially when they had opportunity to go up 2 scores, and Chandler Whitfield, even though he had a touchdown, muffing that punt at the end of the first half, I think that kind of was the turning point in the game.
Yeah, but you know how some of these fans are, Coach. Just ridiculous, but
yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I thought Southern and Jackson State fans were like unrealistic, but for them to be complaining about Moose, I was shocked by that, bro.
Me as well. And look at the MEAC, Coach. Moving on to another. And guys, I want to welcome my brother Brent Fox. What's going on, man?
Hey, y'all! Thank you so much for having me.
What's up,
Coach?
Brent?
What's happening, Jared? What's happening, JB?
What's going on, family?
Yeah, thank y'all so much again for having me on. Hey, Coach, when I first got on the podcast, because I was running late, obviously, the first 2 words I heard were Harold Blood. I knew it was going to go all downhill from there.
Well, bro, I'm not
I was like, oh. He
Hey,
must he must have really played bad or something.
no, I'm not gonna lie. They tried to. I think they realized like he's more of a game manager. They just tried to lean too heavily on the run game last night, and I mean he played decent under the circumstances. I mean he didn't have more turnovers than touchdown passes like he normally has. But
Okay.
the problem was Coach Dooley, he just tried to run the ball entirely too much. I mean, bro, anytime that you start the second half with 3 straight run plays and you punt the ball and put your defense back on the field, I'm like, bro, it's not good. And it was a little bit less than a minute left in the game. And you had one timeout, you at midfield, and they tried to run the ball on first down.
Mm.
So I'm like, bro, you can't run in these situations,
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
he's trying to make him a game manager, and I'm like, man, I think with the right play caller, I think they would be all right. But to
Yeah.
say Dooley's supposed to be an offensive guru, he's not that guy,
Yeah. Sounds like a familiar problem. We'll get into that later. But
Oh
also,
yeah.
man, the fact that these FAMU and these JSU fans are getting mad because everything's not perfect. It sounds like champagne problems. I'm not going to pretend to know that I'm a aficionado of HBCU football, but I think any kind of football that anybody should be familiar with, rarely everything goes perfect. And you have to
That's true.
appreciate these special franchises or special years that these teams have while you can, because in reality, those are few and far between.
This is the crazy thing
That's
about that,
true.
brother Brent. They have not lost a SWAC game this year. The only
Mhm.
game they lost was to a PWI school the first week.
Yeah.
So I don't understand what the complaint is about. They undefeated in SWAC play. They at the top of the SWAC standings in the East. More than
Hmm.
likely, they're going to the SWAC championship. They're more than likely going to win. More than likely, they're probably going to win the Celebration Bowl.
Hmm.
So I don't see what the complaint is. I mean, if things go sideways at some point, then you have a legitimate complaint. But I
Hold
don't
on,
see.
yo. Don't call North Carolina. If I don't know if you seen the MEAC standards, but North Carolina Central Head and Shoulders is basically looking the same way. They're 5-1. I think they're also the only school they lost to is a PWI school.
So essentially, they equivalent. I didn't say they were going to win. It's not guaranteed, but I mean, so it sounds like even if they do, the two of them did meet head to head, it will be an evenly matched game.
It's gonna be a damn good game. I
So,
bet that. Yes, sir.
I mean, so my issue is I don't see what FAMU fans are complaining about. It's like, if they're complaining about Jeremy Musa. Like I say, now that Shador Sanders, is in Boulder, essentially, Jeremy Musa is the best quarterback in the SWAC hands down. And if that's it, like you said, brother Brent, they have rich people problems. I don't see what they're complaining about.
They got a champagne problem. Yeah. Champagne problems.
Man,
I've been trying to keep up with Prairie View because my brother is an alumni there. And so hopefully as I get more information on their standings, on their play style and all of that, I'll be able to kind of add to the conversation when y'all start discussing the SWAC and all of that, man.
well, me and Coach can help you with that a little bit. Prairie View A&M uh, is 3-1 in the conference, but they're 3-3 overall. So in the west side of the SWAC, they have the potential to win the SWAC, but they can't fall any more games to fellow SWAC teams.
Yeah.
Who do they have in the West?
So in the West, they have, of course, Prairie View, Alcorn, Southern,
Okay.
South Pine Bluff, and Texas Southern.
And the crazy thing about it, they were leading in the SWAC last year. Southern's head coach used to be year before last. He was the head coach of Prairie View, and they were leading the SWAC last year. And Southern and Prairie View, they had a fight pregame, and of course Southern won the fight, and Southern won the game also. So
Mm.
Southern was Southern Southern went to once they beat Prairie View, they went to second in the SWAC. Texas
Mm-hmm.
Southern was leading the SWAC, and of course both Texas Southern and Prairie View, they had their chance to win the SWAC, but both of them faltered at the end. Prairie View lost to Mississippi Valley, and
Mm.
Southern backed their way into the SWAC championship game last year.
Oh, okay.
Not because of the head coach, but in spite of him. And even that, I guess he just didn't want to win it. Instead of putting his best quarterback in, he made his best quarterback third string. He played the other two quarterbacks. They dug him a 26-point hole. And then the guy that really should have been starting the entire time, he brought him back. But they dug too deep a hole for him to pull him out of it,
Oh man. Yeah.
Yeah, so Fairview A&M can be on the top of the SWAC West and to be the potential to battle for a SWAC championship. Of course, they're gonna lose. They're gonna have a great depth that game against FAMU, but
Mm-hmm.
they
still can compete for SWAC championship.
And before you hopped on, Brother Brent, that's what we were saying. Basically, he was saying he don't think Southern gonna make it to the SWAC championship game, and we were talking about essentially, FAMU is like the best team in the SWAC, head and shoulders above everybody else. We're not saying they're not gonna lose the SWAC game, but more than likely they're going to the SWAC championship game.
Right.
The problem is with Prairie View and Southern and Grambling and Alcorn, all of those teams on the West is a lot of parity. So for the exception of Arkansas Pine Bluff, who's like the bottom feeder team, any one of those other teams can win it. Prairie View can win it, Southern can win, Grambling can win it. Any of those teams pretty much in the West could pretty much win the SWAC championship. I mean, not SWAC championship, I mean the SWAC West. So it's wide open. Prairie View can win it.
Very wide open.
Alcorn can win it, Southern can win it. Essentially, Prairie View is 3-3 right now. They're 3-1 in the SWAC, but Southern, Alcorn, and Grambling 2-1. So any of those teams can win, and they all have to play each other coming up for the most part,
And Brent, I gotta add. I'm gonna do these shout outs, and I got a question to ask. Me and Coach and JB was talking about it last show.
Okay.
What up? Lunch break hot take, man. Thank you. This is another brother with a bomb ass show. Please like and subscribe. Show this brother love. Brandon Brazil's 86 Goats said, just chilling. How are y'all? Living big with Big Red. He said, what's up, gentlemen? What's up, Big Red? Another bomb ass channel. Please go like and subscribe. He Baltimore Raven fan like me and JB, but he talk about sports in general. So please show this brother love, man. But we have a gentleman on here by the name of Brent Fox who played Texas high school football before. So I say that to say this. Last show, Friday, Coach brought up the aspect in the high school playoff brackets. He said basically he heard that sometimes Texas high school teams that are 9-1 or 8-2, a lot of times don't make the playoff. And me and JB explained why.
Yeah.
And I just want another brother who experienced the Texas high school football rat race to also double down on that.
Yeah. I'm going to be honest with you. It's going to be, and I did listen to the show. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm going to give you the same answer that Jared and JB gave. It depends on like the what we would probably refer to as like a strength of schedule. There could be several like perennial playoff schools all in one division.
Yes.
So, and I'll give an example. Like and I hate to sound like this, but back when I was playing, there was Dallas Skyline, there was Dallas Carter, there was Dallas Kimball, and at one point they were all in the same division. So
Mm.
you could actually wind up as Dallas Skyline going probably like 8-2, and you still don't make the playoffs because your two losses were to Carter and Kimball. And the best representative or the best school was the one that actually went to the playoffs. So yeah, it's almost pretty common to where if you win like a majority of your games or you have an impressive record, and you lose the ones that you needed to win against like these perennial schools that threaten for state championships, then yeah, you could easily be like 9-1 or 8-2 and be out the playoffs.
Yeah, that's the
Sure.
exact same answer they gave Friday. And I was saying, essentially, I guess in Texas y'all call it strength of schedule. In Louisiana, they kind of moved away from it because they restructured the playoffs because you had teams like, John Curtis, certain teams, essentially they were recruiting. So they restructured the way it is. There's I guess a public league side, a private side, whatever the case may be. But we call it power rankings in Louisiana. And, the school I went to, my senior year, Brandon Jacobs and Tremont Williams, they were freshmen. And basically, like, I remember my junior year, the team was 4-6, but we went 3-2 in district. And essentially all the games we lost were like powerhouse type schools like Donaldsonville High School, St. James High, Lutcher High. Essentially all the schools we lost, all of them made the playoffs. So it's the same thing, except it was kind of the opposite. We was 3-2 in district, so we had a winning record in district, but we had so many power points because all of the teams we played against, like A-Meat and St. James and Lutcher and Donaldsonville, all of these teams had, players to go on to the NFL like Howard Green and Jarvis Green, and players that went on to Southern other schools, LSU, whatever the case may be. So we had so many power points my junior year, even though we had a losing record, we still made the playoffs. So essentially we saying the same thing, but I think since Texas is so big, like the margin for error is slimmer. Whereas in Louisiana, of course, you got a lot of good schools. But if you play enough of those hard schools, even though you might have a losing record, as long as you have a winning record in district and you play in a strong district, you still can make it to the playoffs, So essentially we saying the same thing, except I guess since there's so many more schools in Dallas, I mean, not Dallas, but just Texas in general, it's harder,
Yeah, it is. 'Cause I didn't seem like what's considered a powerhouse school. You can see it today. Like, I bet you if you look at the playoffs this year in Texas, a Central Texas high school team who normally plays Central Texas high school teams, they don't really have any powerhouses from Dallas or even Houston. So they don't really run into that teams that are that loaded. So when they do make it in the playoffs, and the first team in the first round they run into maybe a DeSoto or South Lake Carroll, that team that's undefeated may get blown out by that DeSoto or
Duncanville,
South Lake Carroll, whoever.
South Oak Cliff.
South Oak Cliff, yeah.
And see, it's kind of the opposite in Louisiana. Even if you have a losing record and you make it to the playoffs, and you're gonna be a low-rated team. So when you do make it to the playoffs, in the first round, you're gonna play against a killer school like Edna Carr, like Warren Easton, Scotlandville High, Catholic High, St. James High.
Mm-hmm.
You're gonna play against one of these perennial powerhouses John Curtis, whoever. You're gonna play against a, even though you have a losing record and you played a killer schedule the whole year, and you have a losing record, you're gonna make it to the playoff because you have enough power points. But when you do get in the first round, you're gonna play against a killer school. I mean, unless you have an excellent team that all of those losses you kind of was able to scaffold and build off and learn from it. More than likely, you're gonna play against a killer school in the first round, and you're gonna get smacked by a team like I say, like maybe like a John Curtis, a St. James, whoever, Hornville, Destrehan, East St. John, who you're gonna play against a a loaded team in that first round, and you're just gonna get smacked,
Yep.
by some points, and you're gonna just be sitting at home, after the first round. So, yeah.
Mhm.
I
Yeah, cause that
seen.
sound all too familiar, man.
Mhm.
The school I went to, Samuel, we had that when we were like classified as 5A school. We literally like back to back went 4 and 6. Um, but I think we were like 3-2 in our district or something like that, and then wound up going to the playoffs. But we would wind up playing schools like Allen and get beat 70-0 or something like that. So yeah, I definitely know what you're talking about when you say that.
Yeah, they be doing them low. They be doing them low seed teams wrong. They be playing them against They be partnering them against the schools that potentially may go far in the playoffs, or may even win it. So yeah, definitely. But I just wanted to bring that up. But since you played Texas football before, me and JB played Texas football before as well. I found that conversation very interesting. Private chat. Oh, you good, bro? But we're gonna move on to another topic. Okay, we're gonna talk about some college, just regular PWI Power 5 college football. As you can see in my graphic, one of the best games I saw yesterday was the Oklahoma Texas game, the Red River rivalry. That was a damn good game. I enjoyed it. It went straight down to the wire. Dylan Gabriel, the quarterback for Oklahoma, he definitely will be a star in the making if he's consistent for Oklahoma. And Quinn Ewers for Texas is even though Texas lost, he played good as well. Even though he had 2 interceptions, he still had a lot of good throws. He was 31 for 37, 346 yards, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions. What game impressed y'all the most yesterday? Starting with JB.
I'll have to agree with you. The Texas and the Oklahoma game was very, very good game. And then there was another game that I watched. I gotta get back to you. That was pretty good, but I was just so much focused on my Tar Heels. Um,
Of
I'm
course,
glad my Tar Heels got the win. So
me as well. JB, are you talking about the what game are you talking about? I'm blanking on the game too. There's so many games we watched Saturday. But anyway, Coach, what game Power 5 game impressed you, or you were glued to the TV watching?
Well, the three games I really saw yesterday, of course, the game I thought, even though we came out losing in, the game that I thought was the best was, FAMU at Southern. Uh, Also, LSU and Missouri, that was a good game. It came down to the wire. LSU's defense can't stop a nosebleed, but they still was able to prevail. And of course, the Red River rivalry, that was an excellent game. Also, the thing that I kind of miss when Southern has a home game is, I'm doing so much shaking and moving in terms of, trying to get stuff ready, to go to the game, whatever the case may be. Because, they don't sell hard tickets anymore. When you go to AW Memphis Stadium, you have to have it scanned to your phone, whatever the case may be. So, there's a lot of things that I get straight on game days. And of course, in addition to that, I'm kind of flipping back and forth. So, on nine like home game days for Southern, like I'm able to sit and watch and enjoy the game more, when I'm not doing the Bayou Sports Talk. But outside of that, those were the games that only that was only the three real games I really saw. And I glanced at a little bit of the Colorado game, but that was about it.
Yeah, I watched the Colorado game too. The offensive line is atrocious. I'm
Yeah, they, they,
sorry.
they are terrible,
They are
terrible.
terrible. Um, Reminding me of my Baltimore Ravens offensive line. If you want to compare offensive line,
All the Saints offensive line, even though they played better today, but it's weaker competition. But of course, we're gonna get to the NFL a little bit later.
yeah, we definitely will. I just had to mention that, but I'm glad Colorado got the win. Also, guys, I do want to open. Uh, I don't know if Brent had to hop off. He said he'll be back. Um, but I do want to open up talking about uh the new rule changes for the transfer portal. So basically, I'm just gonna read the article here. The NCAA Division I Council approved changes to the transfer portal windows that will shrink the number of days for student athletes to enter their name in the portal. The rule change will impact all sports and give players 45 days total throughout the year to enter their names into the transfer portal. Each sport will have 45 total days, but it will be divided differently by sport. For example, before the rule change, the window for football will open the day after the college football playoff teams are announced, which was December 4th in 2022, and will stay open for 45 days. The next period will open April 15th to April 30th, which will remain the same with the new changes. Under the new rule, there will be a 30-day window after the season and 50 days in the spring. Excuse me, in 15 days, 15 days in the spring. And if FBS and FCS, the new 30-day window will begin the Monday after FBS conference championship games. Any student athletes competing in the college football playoff will also be given additional 5-day transfer window in January, while the second window will occur during the second half of April. For men and women's basketball, a 45-day window opens the Monday after selection Sunday. The Division I Council had proposed changes to the portal in January that will have seen a reduction from 60 total days to 30, but voted Tuesday to instead shrink the window to 45 days. This does not impact when a student athlete can transfer, only when they can enter their name into the NCAA database to transfer without penalty. Graduate transfers will now have a notification of transfer deadline of May 1st for fall and winter sports and July 1st for spring sports. for all grad transfers transferring for the first time. Now, the reason why I read this long article is the narrative is a lot of people think they changed the rule, transfer portal rules is because of Coach Prime. Starting with you, Coach, do you believe that?
I think so because I read something similar last night after the game. Uh, I went on. I was googling something, and it popped up. There's certain articles or whatever, and it was saying that essentially, is this rule geared towards Coach Prime? And I'm like, huh? And I clicked on it, and essentially it was saying a lot of the same things you were saying. So basically, I think it kind of is. It's geared towards him. A lot of these college coaches have been belly aching, moaning, and complaining. If it benefits them, it's cool. But if someone else benefits from it, I guess it's an issue. I guess it's no fun when a rabbit has the gun. I think at the end of the day, basically, I don't think it's going to change a whole lot because even if you look at, essentially the window is changed. They just shrunk the. I guess you have fewer days to to do certain things in terms of the transfer portal. But for the most part, I don't think it's going to change a whole lot. But I still think you're going to have individuals, just to use my Southern Jaguars as an example. I know you always say I use them as an example or an analogy. However, Trey Lane, he was penciled in to be a starter. He had 5 tackles for loss last year. He was a solid starter. We expected big things from him. He had an excellent spring game, him along with Kelby Givens. Then he turned around, he entered the transfer portal. He ended up going to Indiana University. So essentially, those type of things are going to happen. There's nothing that shrinking the transfer portal window is going to do to deter someone like him to maybe transferring from an HBCU to PWI or vice versa. So at the end of the day, I don't think it really changes a whole lot. But despite what people might say, maybe it was a little bit of clickbait in terms of the article that I read yesterday. But nevertheless, I still think that rule is geared towards Colorado, but Coach Prime in particular.
JB, what do you think?
It was 100% put in play to stop Coach Prime. 100%. And I just think that um there was a lot of mumbling that's saying that a lot of the coaches or NCAA or whatever are coming together, kind of like the come against Coach Prime. At first, I thought it was just people talking, but now it just this just might be the reason why people think that, man. You know,
So you don't find it suspicious that all of a sudden they decided to do this rule?
I do find it suspicious. I just think that
No, no, I'm just creating the narrative that you're saying.
right. So it's just weird, man. It's just like Coach said, it ain't fun to the rabbit have a gun unless the
Right.
rabbit have a gun. So
Yeah, I agree. I have to agree with you both. Maybe it's not. Of course, they can't. They have to do it where it's impacting everybody, but individually, I think it's definitely done to target Coach Prime and what he has done in the past. This past alt season to have the Colorado Buffs at least compete in the Pac-12. Yes, their offensive line is terrible. Yes, their defense is had a lot of holes and needs a lot of improvement. But they're competing. They're competing and they're winning games. Which right now, just sitting 4-2. Um, in my opinion, Coach Prime has achieved the goal of being better than last year. Just right now, with their record as it is now. So I have to agree with you gentlemen both. Of course they have to make it like it's not intentional, you know, or some type of retaliation against Coach Prime. But I can buy that. I definitely can buy it.
Hey, bro, can you pull up the scores of the PWI schools?
Let me see. I sure can. Give me one moment.
I know Georgia Tech upset somebody as well.
Miami.
Miami, yes.
They had opportunity to kneel on the ball in the game, and they didn't. Came back to bite them in the behind.
That's crazy.
Arizona almost upset USC in overtime,
And
but
I
USC
see,
got on.
and I see LSU came back and got Missouri off of them.
Yeah, they escaped. That's why I say that was one of the only 3 games I really saw yesterday. Well, one of the only 4 games I saw yesterday.
Notre
Louisville,
Dame.
yeah,
Hmm.
Louisville looking good, y'all.
Yeah, Louisville got a lot of players that can score, man, in the blink of an eye. They got speed.
And Alabama escaped. They escaped that game against Texas A&M.
Of course, my Tar Heels beat Syracuse. Drake May playing like I knew he could play. And, shout out to Des Walker.
Yeah, those who don't know, Ted Walker was reinstated, so he was able to play yesterday. He had a few catches. Um he did pretty good. So congratulations to that young man. Um, and of course I'm not just saying that because I'm a UNC Tar Heel fan. It was wrong with the NCAA trying to pull against that young man after there was a lot of athletes who did the same thing or had a similar situation to Ted or Devontae Walker, but they just for some reason they just tried to punish him uh, for doing what a lot of kids had to do because of either COVID or whatever the case may be. So I'm glad he was able to play. Welcome back, Brent Fox. I asked the panel uh, about the new. I don't know if you heard about the new shrinking rule. Basically, there was a new rule implemented in the transfer portal. Used to be 45 days throughout the year. But now they shrunk it to 30.
Mm, okay.
And a lot of content creators and in the YouTube streets think that, and I have to agree. And even JB and Coach 67 Sports TV just advised that they think it was in a way that rule was implemented to go against kind of what Prime did this past all season.
Oh, it absolutely was. Yeah, it absolutely was. There was no other time um, that they would probably want to quote unquote implement a rule like that um, until Coach Prime brought all his fellas over from Jackson State over to Colorado and kind of put Colorado on notice, like, hey, you guys are a 1-11 program. Things gonna change around here. A lot of people didn't take that very well to begin with. And it kind of molded or blended itself into a campaign against, okay, well, we're going to take away whatever advantages you think you have to build this team with, and we're going to try to make you, we're going to try to make you look like a fool or make a mockery out of you. So yeah, that nobody else was going to implement. There was no other time where anybody was going to implement a rule like that,
Right.
unless it was Coach Prime. So yeah, that
I
there's no doubt in my mind that they did that
I
for
definitely
him.
agree. I
Yeah.
definitely agree. Um, and then I also asked him, what game, Power Five game yesterday that you watched, that had you stuck to the TV?
Oh, without question, it was Texas OU, man. Yeah,
I kind of figured, but I still
it
had
was
to
Texas
ask.
OU. Yeah, it was Texas OU. That Texas A&M Alabama game was pretty good too. But yeah, it was Texas OU, man. I hate that the Horns couldn't quite pull it off. But congrats to OU. They found the heart to be resilient, get back in there, and wow, just like literally snatch it away. So
Yeah, it was definitely a good game. Congrats to those Sooners. Even though I ain't gonna lie, that's did pick Texas to win, but Oklahoma they they definitely came to play and got the win. But now moving on to, I just have to talk about this.
uh-oh.
As y'all can see in my background, we gonna talk about we can talk about we, we could talk about some other games, but me being in Baltimore Ravens fans
The
and
topic
Brent
of the
being
day for y'all
yes,
three.
yes Lord, and Brent being a Pittsburgh Steelers, so we have to talk about this shit. Was today the Steelers was home and the Baltimore Ravens came into Steelers Nation and laid a fat egg, man. Like
Hmm.
gave them the game. And I don't know if you heard me when I was on Supreme Beats boxing show. I said the damn Steelers don't fool me when it comes to the Ravens. They can be blown out from another team 50-0, but if Baltimore play them, they they gonna act like they gonna be on their best behavior with us. And
Oh yeah.
they damn sure was. But what pissed a lot of Baltimore Ravens fans off um is the offensive line and a lot of the drops by our wide receivers. It was atrocious.
Hmm.
Um Also you can see some of the things that wasn't addressed in the off season kind of bite us in the ass, which somebody like a TJ Watt could take advantage of on that right, coming around that right side. Um, Brent Fox, as a Pittsburgh Steelers fan, I know you're not used to seeing your Steelers play as poorly, and I know you guys got the win, but I heard a lot of boos tonight or today.
Hmm.
Um,
Absolutely.
can you explain to my audience, or maybe somebody who's not familiar with what a lot of the Pittsburgh Steelers fans are frustrated with um, the Steelers at this moment?
Well, it depends on how much time you got. I'm just serious. Anyway, I
Speak your truth, bro.
the I think the source of our problems really is the execution of the offensive plays that Matt Canada, our infamous offensive coordinator, happens to be calling. Um, Coach, to kind of put it in a more clear perspective, Matt Canada to us is like Coach Dooley to y'all. Okay, we can't stand him.
Woo, that's saying
He's
a lot.
not. He's not. He's not a proven. He's not a proven winner. He just. I mean, he's really just taking up space. But the only thing about that situation is this: we went through OTAs, we went through 2-a-day practices, and we're in the first quarter, or just went past the first quarter of our season. And even if we we have a bye week next week, so even if we go ahead and let him go, those plays still have to be there, because we're not going to be able in a week's time to undo the whole playbook, put in another playbook, and expect things to run smoothly. You know as well as I do, Coach, things don't run like, real life don't work like that. It is a process that is
Not at all.
involved where you have to implement these plays. And as you explained so eloquently earlier, it's like teaching math. You basically have to teach blocking schemes. You basically have to teach timing and motions. And then you can get to the good stuff on, okay, on a running play, this is what hole you're going to go to. Or on a passing play, these are the concepts we're going to draw up. It takes time to actually build a whole nother offense. And I think what our fan base is not really understanding is that particular process. Like it's not going to be a situation where you can get this guy out of here, all those whack plays and everything else going to be gone. We're going to cram some new plays into the whole offensive system, and then we're going to be great. No, it don't work like that. Even if it's a bad offensive system, there was still a process in place to build that system, unfortunately. And we have to ride with that particular system, at least for this season. And we can get rid of Canada once the season's over. But even if we cut them loose now, those plays or that playbook is still going to be there. And that's what a lot of people don't understand on the offensive side of the ball. Now I can talk about defense if you want me to, because that's a whole nother issue too.
No, y'all defense, y'all actually, I see y'all weaknesses. Y'all defensive line is not the defense. Y'all don't have Brett Cassell, Big Casey Hampton, Larry Foote, James Harrison, um, on that defensive line like y'all did. But y'all did what y'all. I mean, it was
And
sufficient enough to stop what we was trying to do for
yeah,
at
honestly,
the second second
sorry,
half
go
of the
ahead.
game. No, you good at the second half of the game. Which brings me. I'm gonna give it to you, JB, because JB he got a lot to say on the subject as far as the Baltimore Ravens side. But my thing was, I called in the Coach Sitter's Tally show, and I said the offensive line in the off season lost us the game today. The reason why I say that is because during the off season, because the off season and the offensive line goes hand in hand. The offensive line wasn't addressed. You know, Ronnie Stanley is an injury prone. You know, we know he's an all-pro tackle, one of the best tackles in the game. It was healthy. The issue is he hasn't been healthy. So we should have went ahead and drafted probably some of the higher tier tackle, one of the best tackles on the board. Or look in the FCS, see if there were some tackles that played good in the FCS. You know, that was dogs, man. But we drafted a Salah from Oregon who could was seen on film being bench pressed by Jalen Carter from Georgia. I mean, just got bench pressed off the ball like it was nothing. So We drafted him
Mm-hmm.
to be a backup tackle. And Daniel Falele, he's 6'8" and 320 pounds, but he can't move his. He's stronger. He can't move his feet. So
He
that
got
that
feet like a turtle.
so TJ Watt will be like, "Excuse me, thank you, gotta get by." So, and then the Lamar Jackson haters. I mean, this game, I can honestly say, besides that bad throw to Jerry Porter Jr., Lamar Jackson did all he could because of man Zay Flowers was dropping balls. Nelson Aguilar was dropping balls. Um, yeah, if anything, he need to be a backup guard or something for Lele. I agree, Brandon. So overall, I say this. I'm gonna give it to you, JB. And Brent, for the Steelers fans that's saying get rid of Mike Tomlin, they need to stop going in and they need to stop drinking or being on drugs or whatever. I don't think it's a Mike Tomlin issue. I think it's a the people around them, like you said, Canada and some of the personnel. But for the Baltimore Ravens, we need to go ahead and get rid of that whole John Harbaugh good old boy system. Go ahead and get them out. I don't care who it is. I'm gonna go ahead and say this: Todd Monken, from my understanding, Todd Monken knows somebody in the family, John Harbaugh. If he doesn't mesh well, go ahead and get rid of him too. We need to bring somebody in here, head coach, that's going to have the mind to improve Lamar Jackson. As you just saw, Lamar Jackson, the people that's saying that Lamar Jackson can't throw, that is dead. You got to give that man time to throw. And against this caliber, Pittsburgh Steelers team, no offense to Brent Fox, we should have beat them. We should have been up by 3 touchdowns, but the mistakes.
Oh no, I'm not offended at all. That was a miracle win.
the mistakes, some of the questionable play calling. The only I can give Todd Monken this. You only had 2 or 3 or 4 play call. I was like, what the hell are you doing? Other than that, he had an okay game. Yeah, Brandon, like you hear what Brandon, we will trade for Tomlin. Yeah, I agree. He knows hard system. I figured that. But that whole John Harbaugh good old boy system, we need to uproot and cut it out. Because it's not helping us move forward.
Mm-hmm.
But JB, go ahead.
Well, first of all, I agree with Brandon. If y'all ever get rid of Mike Tomlin, we'll take him. You know what I'm saying? We'll take him. But in all seriousness, man, it was just frustrating. It was just a frustrating game to watch. At the beginning of the game, we were moving up the ball. We were running on the Steelers, passing on the Steelers, getting anything we want to. But when we got within the 10-yard line, we laid an egg. Andrews and Bateman dropped the ball in the red zone, right in his hands. There was a play earlier where we threw it to Zay. I don't know if Zay was scared of getting hit because they were roaming TJ Watt into coverage. They were pulling, and then TJ, hit him in the mouth, literally hit him in the mouth, and he just had gator arms. I don't know, but Zay need to get together. Zay need to get that shit together. I mean, people was complaining about Hollywood Brown dropping balls, but Hollywood Brown is not here, so that excuse is out the window.
And he doing the
Yeah.
thing in Arizona, quiet as it kept.
With Joshua Dobbs, but
Mhm.
that we're not gonna talk
Yeah,
about
yeah. We're not gonna.
Arizona right now. We're talking about this. In my opinion, on paper, Baltimore has probably the best roster in the NFL. And we playing like hot horse shit. You know what
Mm.
I'm saying? Defense was balling. You know,
Yeah,
they didn't pass the 50-yard line until the fourth quarter. Kenny Pickett got most of his yards, right? Until the fourth quarter when he threw that beautiful pass
the George Pickens.
to George Pickens. But I can't get mad at the defense. I'm not gonna get mad at the defense because that happens to any defense when you don't put points on the board and you're tired and you gotta be on defense for for most of the game. Now that's not the 2000 um, Ravens out there. That's not the 2006 2007 Ravens defense out there. You know what I'm saying? We can't play that defense no more. So this is a good defense we got. So the offensive line, there was this we stopped chipping TJ Watt, which pissed me off. We chipped TJ Watt with Patrick Ricard, and he wasn't getting Lamar like that. But then we left. There was one play later in the game we let Falele. We left Falele on TJ by himself, and he just like got to Lamar quick. Lamar didn't have no time to pass or nothing. And then, like Jared just stated earlier, we passed when we should have ran. When we was in the red zone for them few times, you got Gus Edwards, and since we want to run Lamar so much, when we don't need to, that would be the perfect time to run Lamar. Especially if you see your offense is not clicking like it needs to, go ahead and run that quarterback option. But it's just frustrating, man, and um, people want John Harbaugh head, and I disagree with Brett Fox. You can get rid of your offensive coordinator. We've done it in the middle in our Super Bowl year, 2012. We got rid of what's your boy name, Jared? In the middle of the season,
You talking about Cam Cameron?
we got rid of Cam Cameron and brought in Jim
Oh
Caldwell,
well, yeah, sure did.
and we made our run. So y'all can get rid of Matt Canada. Y'all sure hell can. Yes, you can. What he's
Those
gonna
plays
have to
aren't going
do,
anywhere though.
yeah, but that's okay. But you got to get one thing. I listen to Sam's Critic because I'm also a gamer. Sam's Critic is a Steelers fan.
Yeah,
He was
yeah.
saying that right. He was saying that the scheme for y'all is terrible. The play structure is terrible. Y'all run it. It's kind of like what y'all dealing with. What Baltimore Ravens were dealing with the last couple of seasons with Greg Roman. There's really no. It's middle school passing concepts. You see what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying?
Yeah.
So if you can get somebody, because I don't care what nobody say, to run, and pass, that works if it's effective. And I think when y'all found out that Najee Harrison wasn't working, and I think when our defense got tired, and when y'all brought in Jalen Warren, a quicker, faster back, y'all had success. Because I think our defense was getting tired. That we were prepared to do fill up the A gaps, but we wasn't prepared to go, from sideline to sideline to catch Jalen Warren. So and then Brandon Brazil made a good point. On that offensive line, let's talk about that offensive line.
Mm.
Ben and Coach has pointed this out. Why hasn't Ben Cleveland getting these snaps? You see, Falele is dying a horrible death over there. Go ahead and I mean, go ahead and put Ben Cleveland in. I mean, that's what you drafted him for. And in the preseason, he did pretty good at tackle on both sides. He played left and right tackle in the preseason, I believe. So I don't know if he's in John Harbaugh's doghouse. I don't know what's going on, but um, it's just it's just crazy. We're losing, and I think and we need to win now. I mean, we pay all this money to Odell Beckham. He hurt every other play. And like Jared just stated, Ronnie Stanley. If Ronnie Stanley don't get healthy, we need to trade his ass for somebody better. You know what I'm saying, or something. We need to do something.
Man, a lot of, and Coach Sip the Tally will tell you. When I first said, when we first traded Orlando Brown Jr., I was the only one that said we should have traded Ronnie Stanley instead. Man, they jumped on me like it was like I had cursed their mama or something. But look how everything going now. And fast forward, Orlando Brown Jr. is having probably one of the worst seasons he's having over there in Cincinnati. But look at the dude's resume. He's old. He's never hardly been hurt. Uh,
And
Already a Pro Bowler,
he's a damn good run blocker too.
and he's won a Super Bowl, and he's a multiple time Pro Bowler. So who would you rather still have available? The guy that's never
Not
almost never
available. You're right.
not available, or the guy, he may struggle sometimes, but he gonna get it together because he's always available.
But yeah, man, we just got to figure this out. We're not the team that we need to be right now.
We're not.
So we should and like you and Brent said, we should have been up about 2-3 touchdowns. Um, for us going forward instead of taking the three, because I already knew this was gonna be one of these classic Pittsburgh Ravens games. That frustrated me. I'm like, y'all should have took that point. That's gonna come back and bite y'all in y'all ass, and it did.
Yeah.
But I'm done with it. I know everybody's on the Lamar. It's Lamar's fault. I'm not worried about those people. Those people obviously didn't watch the game.
Mm-hmm.
I think, we all know people. This is, people still butthurt because they thought Lamar was a bust. So Lamar been proving them wrong ever since he got in the league. So we're not worried about those people. But when Lamar needs to be critiqued, we will critique him. When he have a bad game, trying to be Superman all the time, fumbling, trying to force balls, we will critique him. But this is not that game.
No. He had a bad interception, but overall, he didn't have. It was not his fault at all. Matter of fact, he should have had 2 or 3 touchdowns passing.
That play shouldn't have been called, to be honest with you.
Mm.
Honestly, yeah, if it wasn't for like some unfortunate events with y'all, like it would have been a blowout loss, to be honest. Never would I had imagined, excuse me, Your tight end missing a touchdown pass. Then you turn around and Bateman can't even catch the ball on a relatively routine pass. That doesn't happen like very often. And then what you call it, Aguilar drops a sure touchdown too. Like I said, man, God must have been smiling on us this game
He
because
was.
there's no real way that we should have squeaked out of there and won. And I am a dedicated Steelers fan. I've been a Steelers fan for a majority of my life. Um, but even I know that, those intangibles is what they call them, had to have taken place several times, and I'll emphasize several times, in order for us to even win. So, I'll take it, a win's a win, but like, yeah, hadn't it been for those unfortunate events with y'all would have blew us out. I'm gonna be honest.
Well,
And
if they don't get it
and
together, we gonna get blown out.
well, don't forget Zay Jones tripping and falling on the deep ball that should have
Be
been a
Zay
touchdown as
Flowers.
well. Yeah, Zay
Yeah,
Flowers. Yeah,
absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Because he was wide open. Like he split that defense and he was out of there. Lamar threw a very accurate ball, and Zay, for whatever reason, just fell. So yeah, I don't discount that either. You're right. And I think there was another play that he had where it was like that don't usually happen.
yep,
So yeah, yeah, those 7 or 8 drops or something like that happened. That's not characteristic of y'all. Y'all have some good receivers. I even have Zay on my fantasy team, so it's kind of bittersweet. But he doesn't play like that. He doesn't play
yes,
like that regularly. So
yeah. It's bittersweet for me too. I got George Pickens on my fantasy team, but
damn, damn.
But
But
just going over yeah, man, we can talk about all day about that. But just looking at the other games, the Jaguars fall. Beat the Bills. Uh, Coaches Saints blow out the Patriots.
yes, sir. Congratulations, coach.
Man,
Because you couldn't have done that to a worse team. I still don't like those guys. So anytime somebody tramples all over them, I enjoy it. So thank you, coach.
well, truthfully speaking, I mean, I hate to say this. I know some, like, I had my barber. He was at one point. He was like, "Bill Belichick is the greatest NFL coach of all time." I'm like, I told him then. I'm like, when he was the head coach for the Browns, nobody was talking about him being a great coach then.
They
But he
weren't.
got Brady, and he's the greatest coach of all time. And since Brady's left, the Patriots have been irrelevant, and now they want him out. So they did what they were supposed to do, but I don't think it's nothing to really write home about, truthfully speaking.
I agree. I agree. If it wasn't for the GOAT Tom Brady, Coach Belichick wouldn't be nothing. Um, the Colts outlast the Titans. Uh, the Zach Moss had a field day. Um, Anthony Richardson was having a decent game until he got hurt. Had to come out and Gardner Minshew had to finish up the game. So, but they still got the win. So, congratulations to the Colts. Of course, we talk about the Steelers and Ravens. Steelers outlast the Ravens. Panthers beat the brakes. Lions beat the brakes off the Panthers. Oh, Falcons came back and beat the Texans.
Yep, sure
Oh
did.
man, Giants lose to the Dolphins. Bengals. The Cardinals. I thought I picked the good Cardinals to win, but the Bengals
Yeah, they beat
outlast.
them. Oh, my
That
fault,
was
man.
no, you good.
I was just
Uh,
saying they beat them 34-20.
mm-hmm. Eagles. That was a good game. I watched that game. Eagles beat the Rams 23-14.
Mm-hmm.
Jets beat Broncos. 31-21. Did y'all see uh, uh Russell Wilson and Coach Payton arguing at each other?
Oh no, I missed
Yeah,
that
bro.
part.
Yeah, I missed that too. Hey, I bet you Coach Payton wish he was back in New Orleans at this point.
I bet
I
he
bet
do.
he do.
Hey, not to get off subject, but I was watching the Club Shay Shay interview with Marshawn Lynch,
Hmm.
and yeah, man, it was pretty revealing, man. Like how Coach Carroll was actually like alienating Russell Wilson
I
from the
know what
rest
you're
of the
talking
team.
about. We
Like,
picked
hey,
that up
if you got
too.
an issue with Russ, you got to talk to me or you got to talk to the quarterback coach. Don't talk to Russ.
I ain't gonna lie. Me, Pops, and Josh was talking about that too. That made Russell look like a bitch. I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah, it's like, man, what, you unapproachable, and we co-workers, really. Like, I can't approach you as a co-worker. What? That's crazy.
That's
That is
crazy.
crazy.
So I see why he wanted his own private office in Denver, and he wanted multiple parking spots relegated just for him. Wow.
JB,
Oh, he sure
yeah,
did too. They
JB
had
had
that
to.
going on in Seattle too.
Yep, yep. And JB had to hop off a little bit, but
Mm-hmm.
he did say this when we watched that. He said people owe Channing Crowder an apology
Yeah.
because Channing Crowder got flat for saying that um basically he's saying Russ was
He
simp.
Yeah, like
Basically,
he was trying to say that, hey, we're all supposed to be one team, and then we got some Simps running around here, Russell Wilson, uh, trying to do their own thing. We a team, but he owed Cam Chancellor an apology, bro. Like, that's your teammate at the end of the day. Like, y'all are supposed to help each other win, which brings you more money. Like, it's a pretty simple formula, but
that's crazy, man.
yeah.
I mean, clearly, I don't think he understood how good he had it in Seattle, because since he's come to Denver, we've come to the realization that he's not a franchise quarterback.
Yes, he is. He has played horribly. Like, I
Yeah,
think there was only one good game that I know of that he may have actually played, but other than that, yeah, he has not played well at all.
yeah, he's been awful.
Yeah.
But going wrap it up, the scores. And forgive me if y'all hear my dog in the background. Uh, the Chiefs outlast the Vikings 27-20. Good game.
Hmm.
Currently, what's going on is the 49ers is beating the Cowboys 21-7, and then tomorrow
Yes,
we got
sir.
Raiders and Packers.
Yes, sir.
You meant to say the Cowgirls, right?
Oh yeah, the
Yeah, yeah,
Cowgirl.
yeah.
That's
Or
right, the Cowgirl.
my personal favorite, the Dallas F Boys. I'm gonna keep it clean on your show, brother. But yeah, the Dallas F
We
Boys
all
is what I
grown here.
usually call them.
No, no. Hey, usually I call them the Dallas Cow instead of girls, the B word. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. that was good too, coach. That was good too. Yeah, that was good too. Oh man.
That's
But yeah,
hilarious.
Jared, I appreciate the fact that you and Coach 67 and JB have had me on the show, man. I really, really had a good time, man.
Brother, it was a pleasure
It
having
was a
you,
pleasure
bro.
having you, brother.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely, man.
But I'm about to wrap up anyway. I gotta get ready for work. Do some
Hmm.
stuff for work tomorrow. But um, before we leave, just want to let everybody, for example, brother Brent, let everybody know where people can meet you and see you.
Yes, sir. I am going to go ahead and continue to work to get my show. It's just me back on YouTube. We are facing some technical difficulties for the past few weeks, but I'm still gonna navigate through it, and I'm gonna try to see if I could get my show done on Thursday. Um, but again, shouts out to the LDBC. Shouts out to my immediate and extended family, which includes you all, and to the listeners out there actually just participating in the show. Thank you all very much.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. And Coach 67 Sports TV, Mr. Southern himself, let everybody know where people can meet you and see you.
Well, if you want to see me in person, you can see me Saturday at AW Mumford Stadium for Southern University homecoming. But you can catch me at Coach 67 Sports TV on all social media platforms, on Twitter, which is X now, Instagram, TikTok. However, you can primarily catch me here on YouTube at Coach 67 Sports TV. Of course, I gave my post-game reaction to Southern versus FAMU yesterday. And in addition to that, I talked about the aftermath of that particular game. So go over there to my channel, Coach 67 Sports TV. Check it out. Shout out to the awesome and amazing LDBC. Hopefully y'all have a blessed evening and a blessed work week. We'll catch y'all on the rebound. Peace and blessings, everyone.
Hey, man. And JB, I don't know if you're back on. Thank you for coming on, brother. I really appreciate it.
No problem, man. Y'all be blessed, man.
Well, this has been another installment of the Southern Baller Show. All Southern brothers on here just shooting the breeze, talking about sports. Love doing this. Y'all please like and subscribe. But other than that, y'all enjoy the rest of your weekend. Enjoy y'all Sunday. Y'all be blessed.
All right, peace.